Hello guys, welcome to the video. So in this one I want to show you how to respawn enemies and how to kill enemies, and the idea is that if enemy gets to the player's castle, then it should disappear and player loses a point or life point or something like that. And to do that, first I want to create the respawn system and death system, and it's going to be pretty easy to do, especially if you have a little bit of experience or if you did complete crash course. Before we do that though, let's make the final destination for the enemies, and that's going to be a castle object. We're gonna go to meshes, towers, building 7, and over here we have the castle. It's a steampunk castle, and also there are walls for this, and we need to take it all and assemble one single building from it. So let's bring them into the scene like that. Let's do prefab unpack completely. Then the castle object, I want to rename it to a player castle. Then let's take what's inside of walls and let's bring it over here to player castle. Now this can be deleted. It is an empty game object over here. Maybe let's place it somewhere so we can easily work with it. Let's give it 10 by 10 over here. Okay. I'm gonna focus on the object. I'm gonna take wall, tower, and a gate, bring it out so we can see them. And before we do any other changes, let's apply material to them so it's colorful and pretty. Let's take these 4 objects as well as these 4 spinners. And let's go over here, click this dot and type main. And there is a main material for them. Let's select it. Then for the mission, we need to type orange, and over here for the emission we need to type red. Okay, very good. Now let's take that tower. Here is a tower, and it is a child of a castle, so we can change position inside of a parent easily by just maybe typing 1 and 1 on the Z. And now it will be on the corner of a castle, which is a perfect scenario for us. Now let's take the wall and let's wait a second. Where is the face of a castle? Over here. Okay, let's take this tower and let's do -1 on the X. Nice. Now I'm gonna take the wall, bring it here, and I know that this wall is not long enough. It should be a little bit longer, just by a bit. So let's do something that usually you should not do, but I did ask the guy who made the assets. He said it's fine, it's not going to be that noticeable. So let's take the scale on the X and let's stretch the model a little bit by 1.05. So it's going to be a bit longer and changes are not that noticeable. Let's set position on the Z 1, and for the X we have to adjust it. So the goal is to make it barely touching the tower. And let's do maybe something like this. Yeah, I think it's fine. You don't have to be super precise. Just do it as you like. Find a good position for it. If you like it, keep it. That's it. And before we go further, let's make this wall as a child of a tower. We need this so later on we can easily duplicate entire setup 4 times and set up walls around the castle. Now let's take the gate and position on the Z -1. No, 1. I'm sorry, yeah, 1. And then for the X we're gonna move it to the left until we like it. We don't want to see the gap. Yeah, something like this should do. I think I like it. Now let's take the wall, duplicate it and bring it to the left. Again, place it as you like, just make sure it is attached to the gate. Very good. Now we've got a wall set up. Let's take a gate and make it as a child of a tower. And next step would be to take the tower itself together with all of its children, duplicate it, then let's take it and change position on the X to 1. And now we can simply rotate it. And yeah, you see how easy it is now. Okay, now let's duplicate it again. Move it here to -1 on the Z. Yes. And let's rotate it. Okay, and the last one, duplicate, -1 on the X, and rotate. And we did assemble the castle. Perfect. It looks nice and pretty. If you're not sure about how even it is, you can click over here and then check it from the sides. And I think it is, well, here could go a bit to the left, right? A bit to the left, right? Like that. Yeah, let me see. One on the X. Interesting. Let's take this gate, see them. So one on the X, and I think we can take all of the gates and do that. One. Okay, perfect. Now, lastly, we have parts over here, parts of the castle, and they are supposed to be spinning. They're supposed to make this castle more alive. So we're gonna take these 4 objects, add rotate object script, and for them, rotation should be around the Y. So let's do it. Let's set rotation of the Y to 1. And I think, where's the forward? Here. Yeah, let's see it first. Let's do 4. For the speed, let's go to play mode. Okay, it is spinning. I only would like them to spin inside, like both of them. So for this object over here, for this one, spinner 1, I want to do Y -1. Now they both gonna rotate inside, sort of, and I like it. Let's see it from another side. So for them, I also would like them to rotate inside, so forward 1 should be -1. And let's remember it. Forward and first should have -1 on the Y. Let's do it. -1. Okay, should be pretty now. Let's go to assets, and this is going to be made as a prefab, so we can save the things we created. And for that, I want to make a folder for prefabs. Prefab. And for those who don't know, prefab allows you to make sort of a blueprint for the object. So later on, you can create multiple objects of that type. And it's going to be new instance of the same object. Let's take the castle, drag it here. Very nice. Now we can make as many castles as we want, but we only need 1. And let's place it somewhere at final destination. I'm gonna adjust the map a little bit. Let me do top-down view, and I'm gonna do mine. If you like, you can do your version of this, all right? We just need to have some space to place the castle on. I think I'm gonna do that on the road, so let me take this one, reduce it to something like this. Then let me duplicate the road, move it here, and let's reduce the size as well, something like this. Then let's duplicate the road again, move it here, and over here, this should be sort of a final road, and then we can take another road, move it up, and increase the size, so we have place for a castle itself. Let's see how it looks. Let's wait a second. A bit longer. Yeah, let's take the castle. Let's move it here. Maybe raise it a little bit because that's too low. So 0.4 on the Y. Yes. Let's rotate it, although it's not really necessary, the rotation. And position for it should be somewhere in the middle of this. I don't see exact the middle of it, but later on we're going to have a tile system and it's going to be much easier to find the middle point. For now, let's just have it as we have it. Okay. Cool. Now let's build a field around it so you can place towers around. And maybe also we can remove a little bit over here like that. Yeah, I think I like it. Looks perfect. Let me go to top-down view again. we need to duplicate this, move it up. Sorry, like that. Stretch it. Duplicate, move it here. Maybe something like this will work. Duplicate again. Yeah, this should do it. Just, you know, be creative. It's not that important right now. We're just making a training field, I would say. And something like this. Okay. All right, very good. So now we have a castle there. We can take the level ground and we can bake it again. Okay, very well. Now let's take the waypoint. Sorry, we need to move it on the corner, duplicate it, place it here, duplicate it, and place one waypoint inside of a castle, like that. Okay, cool. Half job is done. Let's take both enemies, add waypoints, 6 and 7. And now let's create a script for player castle. C# player castle. I'm not sure if we need to name it that, but for now I'll keep this name. Now on the player castle, we're gonna do something super simple. We're gonna use onTrigger method that will kill enemy once it is entering the area. So we're gonna go ahead and make onTrigger method, onTrigger enter, and this method will be called every time something enters the trigger of the castle. We're gonna create trigger right now so you can see how it works. Let's take the castle. We're gonna add box collider to it. Let's increase the size at 2.5. On the Z, 2.5. On the Y is not important, but let's do 2.5. And actually, I want enemies to disappear only when they touch in the gate. So maybe we can reduce the Z. 2.15 looks fine. Just make sure it is on the gate itself. Now, what you need to know is that now it is a common collider, but if you make it is trigger, now this will be just a trigger area. And when something enters the trigger area, onTrigger method will be called. From the script it is on. It will call a method that is in the script over here. You just need to be sure this script is on the same game object as a collider. And let's make it check if enemy has a tag of the enemy. For now we're gonna use tag system. We're gonna do this. If other.tag is equals to enemy, then we're gonna do destroy other game object. Now this looks good to me. We just need to apply tags to the enemies. Let's go back. Let's find enemy basic, enemy fast, and over here we can see it is untagged. So first we need to make a tag. Let's do plus enemy. We're gonna save it and we're gonna go to these two enemies and change tag from untagged to enemy. You just need to be sure that over here it is the same on the game object in Unity. Even the capital letter is important. So if yours says enemy with a small letter, it will not work. It should be exactly the same. Okay, now, even though we have most of the functionality, it will not work like that. If we go to play mode and make enemy enter the castle, nothing is going to happen. Let's quickly check that. I'll just make this enemy super fast. So we can see enemy enters the castle. And nothing is happening, right? Nothing is happening here. That is because enemy does not have a collider and rigid body on it. And we basically not detecting any collision with a castle. So let's go to enemy basic. Let's add box collider. And definitely it should be smaller. So let's try, let me see. Let's try 0.6, no, 0.7. Yes, on the Y. And let's do point. I cannot see the X. Okay, let's try 0.3 on the Z, 0.4, 0.5. 0.5 looks okay to me, but I'll try 0.4. Same on the X. Now we can see that it looks fine, although there is a collider underground. So maybe we can do 0.35 on the Y and then give it offset on the Y equals to 0.5. No, wait, 0.25. Maybe lower. 0.2. 0.18. Yeah, okay, 0.18. This is good. Now let's add rigid body to this enemy, and we need to be sure that we set rigid body to is kinematic. For those who don't know the difference, it's very simple. If rigid body is kinematic, you cannot apply any physics to it. It will just ignore it. And in our case, this is a perfect option, because we just want to have a rigid body on this game object so it can be detected, but we don't want to apply any changes to it. That's why we're gonna do is kinematic and use gravity should be false. Same goes for fast enemy. Let's give it a box collider. Let's see, 0.2 offset, and then cannot see anything. .5, and let's play with the offset a little bit. So 0.3 offset, 0.6 on the Y. No, 0.5 on the Y. Kind of. 55 and here 0.27 offset for the center Y. Okay, this is good. Now let's try Z. 0.33 should be okay. Same goes for the X. So these are the values for the collider of fast enemy. Then let's add rigid body and let's do use gravity false, is kinematic true. Okay, this should be good. I like it, both of them. Now let's go ahead to play mode and see if they will disappear, and if they do, we're gonna end this video and respawn. I think we're gonna make in the next one, because this one is already long, I can feel it. Let's go. I like how he drifting around. Nice. Okay, so it disappeared. Very nice, it works. Now what we need next is a respawn system. And I think I'm gonna show you how to do that in the next video. Okay, I'll see you there.